Hello everyone. Today we'll be discuss about production function. In the production function, we talk about the law variable per person. And in the today video, we will study about the meaning of production, factor of production, types of production function, and law variable per person. Okay. Before we start and tell you what is production, let me ask you some question. If a producer or a farmer wants to produce something and he has only land, can he produce crops? Then answer is no. Okay. And if he has only labor, is he able to produce something? That answer also no. So how do we understand from this that production needs some input or factors? Okay. So we can say that production needs some input or factor. And again tell you something. I think you know about the utility. What is utility? Utility means one satisfaction power of a commodity. If a commodity have some power to fulfill our want, that means the products have some utility. Okay, let me give you example. Uh, Suppose I give you a chocolate, okay, and you eat that. So that means that chocolate fulfill your want and you get satisfied. Okay, and if I give only wrapper, is that wrapper fulfill your want? No. So that means we I can say that that chocolate wrapper doesn't have any utility. Okay. So here what we get that have some utility. So that's why when I eat that chocolate, we get benefited or satisfied. So that means that chocolate have utility. And when I give you a chocolate wrapper that doesn't fulfill your want, that means that wrapper doesn't have any utility power. So my question is that how that chocolate get that power to fulfill our want? How? How that chocolate get that power? So the answer is production. So in the production process, that chocolate get that power to fulfill our want. So can we say now that production means creation of utility because we eat that chocolate and get satisfied. Why? Because that chocolate has some utility. And how that chocolate get that power? How this convert to this product? Okay. So this is happen through the process of production. So can we say that production means creation of utility? Yes. So in simple term, we can say the production means creation of utility. Or in the other word, production function shows the relationship between input and output. And symbolically write Q, the output is the function of labor and capital. Here L is equal to labor and K is capital. And here input, we write here the input is also known as the factor of production. Then what is the factor of production? The input that a farm uses in the production process are called factor of production. That means in the production function, what we use as a raw material or input, we call them factor of production. And those are like land, labor, capital, and organization. This factor of production is divided into two parts. One is fixed factor and another is variable factor. Fixed factor are those factors of production whose quantity cannot be changed in the short run. Okay. In the short run, we can change some factor. Those are called the fixed factor like land, building, and machinery. And what is variable factor? Variable factor are those factors of production whose quantity can be changed in the short run. So those factors are changeable in the short run time period. We call them variable factor. What are those? Like labor, raw material, and power. These are called the variable factor. In the basis of time period, the production function is also divided into two parts. One is short-run production function and another one is long-run production function. Okay, so in the short-run production function, at least one factor is variable. And symbolically we write Q is equal to function of L K bar. That means L is variable factor and K here is the fixed factor. That is capital. And in the long run, all the factors are variable. That means we can change everything. And here only which able to change the level, that variable factor. And here in the long run we write symbolically Q is equal to output is equal to function of labor and capital. Here we doesn't see any bar. That means all of those factors we can change in the long time period. In the short-run production function is also known as the law variable returns, and the long-run production function is also known as the return to scale. Then let me tell you some concepts that related to the production function. One is total product, another one is average product, and another one is marginal product. And what is total product? Total products is the overall quantity of goods or services produced by a firm during a specific period using combination of input like labor and capital. So that means in the given period of time, if a producer uses some input and whatever his total production is known as the total product. And what is average product? It refers to the output per unit of variable. So the output that is produced per unit of input is called the average product. That is, average product is equal to total product by the divided by the unit of variable factor. What is marginal product? The change in the total product due to the change in one more unit of variable input. If we change one more little unit of variable, then that cause change in the output also. So what the change is known as the marginal product. We can derive like the change in the output and change in input. In the today we discuss, I already told you the law of variable per person, like short-run production function. In the short-run production function, we see three stages. One is increasing return to factors. Now, second one is the diminishing return to factor, and third one is the negative return to factors. Then what is increasing return to factor? In this stage, we observe that our total product is also increases and our average product is also increases, and our MP is also increases. In the total product is increases as a increasing rate. Then why this is happen? This stage we observe that why this has happened because of the better division of labor. When labor are fully efficiently divided and efficiently they work, we get extra output. Like in the addition of um, on the variable factor causes process based division of labor that raises efficient of the factor. So that's why the our output is increased. Okay, so efficiency is also increases, and also better coordination between those factors. So that's also benefited and fuller utilization. Okay. Then, but in this stage, we observe that our fixed factor are not fully utilized, that are underutilized. Okay, so why this has happened? Cause fixed factor are used for the first time, so that's why. In this stage, end where AP is maximum. Where AP is maximum, we observe that AP is maximum at the point of 15. Okay, so in this point we observe that our AP is also maximum. The producer will not stop here because our output can still be increased more efficiently because our fixed factor are underutilized, not fully utilized. And the second stage we discuss about the diminishing return to factor. In this stage we observe that for the total product will be increased at the diminishing rate where 45, 52, and 52. Here we observe the fixed factor is constant and AP is also increases but in the diminishing rate like 15, 13, and 10. And we observe that MP is also increases but as a diminishing rate. And in the stage in the last, we observe that MP is 0. The value becomes 0. So why this has happened? In the fixed factor are fully utilized. In the first stage, we observe that the fixed factor is not fully utilized. But in this stage, our fixed factor is fully utilized and total output is maximum. Here total output is maximum. And use of excess of our variable factor that cause overcrowding happens. Okay. So that's also reason when our variable factor increase more and more. So that between what happened, the geo efficient and the coordination will be break. So that's also the cause of the diminishing returns. And the stage end where the marginal product is 0. Then the stage is the negative return to factor, that is our third stage. In this stage, we observe that our marginal product is negative, give negative value. Our total product is decreases and our AP is decreases, but still positive. So in this stage, what we observe our excess variable factor, that is labor, and also the overcrowd cost, mismanagement, and overcrowd. Okay, we already know our fixed factor is limited. Okay, so the negative return to factor apply because same factor of production are fixed. Okay, some factor are also fixed. We know that cause nature which cannot be increased with the increase of variable factor. We know already that we have some fixed factor. So if we increase only variable factor again and again, so that cause we get the negative factor or negative value, and also decrease the efficiency of variable factor. We observe that in the first stage and second stage that efficient will be increased, that cause our output increase. But in the third stage, mismanagement happen, overcrowded happen, excess variable factor happen. So that's why the decrease the efficiency of variable factor, that is labor, and get poor coordination. So between the fixed factor and variable factor, that's also the cause of negative returns to factor. So the total product start decline and marginal product became negative. We observe from the table. Okay, whatever we discuss in the table and in the theory, let's talk about in the diagram also. Okay, here we see the TP curve and AP curve and also MP curve. Okay, so we can observe here is the point where MP is maximum. That point in the TP curve is point of inflection. We talk about that, what is point of inflection, and we observe that here from the up to the point where AP is maximum is this point. Our first stage will be end, and then our second stage will be start, and this will be end when MP is 0. Here the value is 0. So here is the our second stage will be stopped, then in the third stage will be started. So in this figure, what we observe, the what is the relationship between TP and AP? When TP increases, listen here, here TP is increases. Okay, so increasing rate, MP is also increasing. MP is also increasing here. I think you observe that. When TP increase at the diminishing rate, TP increase at the diminishing rate. Why? Because of the point of inflection. What is point of inflection? The point of inflection is the point, the total product curve, where marginal product is maximum and curve change the increasing at an increasing rate to increasing at a decreasing rate. Because after this point that we observe that MP is maximum at this point, and here we see this point A, what we call that point of inflection. After this point, our MP is positive but declining. So after this point in the TP curve, our TP is our total product is also increasing but at a diminishing rate. When TP reaches its maximum point at the point of B, here is TP is maximum, but MP becomes 0. Here if we see in the AP curve, this point at point N, the MP is 0. And when TP begins to decline, MP became negative. After this point, you observe that TP declining and MP is value is negative. Okay, so These are the relationship between TP and MP. And then what is the relationship between AP and MP? MP increases so long as MP is more than AP. That means AP increases. From what? Where MP is more than AP. MP is greater than AP. Till now. Okay. Then after this point, we observe that AP decreases. AP after this point, AP is decreases. When MP is less than AP. देखो, after this point, MP is lower, or MP curve is lower than the AP curve, and MP is less than the AP. And AP is maximum where AP is equal to MP. Here cut, and at this point is AP is equal to MP. They both are the same. And MP may be 0 or not negative but continue to be positive. Okay, MP is here like 0 and after this point is negative, but AP is positive here still. Okay, then question is arises in which stage, like stage 1 or stage 2 or stage 3, a rational producer produce their product at which stage? Okay, let me discuss to you. Okay, the answer is in the second stage. But why? Because in the first stage, fixed factor are underutilized. We observe that in the first stage, our fixed factor is underutilized. Okay, and in the third stage, there is a excessive labor and mismanagement also. Okay, no better coordination, and there is a poor coordination between the variable factor and fixed factor. Okay, and imperfect factor substitution. These are the call the mismanagement happen and excess labor also. So total product is what decreases. At which stage? In the third stage. And in the first stage we observe that also the underutilized. Okay, of fixed factor. So therefore, a rational producer produce in the second stage. Okay, where he get maximum output and MP is positive. So in this stage, we observe that in the second stage, MP is declining, okay, and TP increases at a diminishing rate, but still both are the positive. Okay, both are the positive and TP increases and get also the maximum value, maximum output. So that's why for a rational producer, the second stage is the stage where he get the maximum output and also he wants to produce at the second stage. Okay, I think you will understand the law of variable proportion, and in the law of variable proportion we discuss about the three stages and where a producer want to produce the stage and why this is happening. Thank you.